Hey, it's Mohammed. Welcome to NeoShift channel. This is actually my first video on YouTube. I want to talk about my country, Iran, which is misunderstood by so many people. I actually live here, and I know the challenges. I know all of the challenges that so many travelers do not even know when they travel to Iran. So many travelers come to Iran and say, it's beautiful, it's welcoming, it is safe. And I don't blame them. Of course they feel that way. For visitors, Iran is warmth, Iran is kindness, Iran is unforgettable. But what a traveler sees is only the opening chapter, a moment, a first impression, a honeymoon.
Show you guys that Iran is a safe place, that the people are friendly.
Iran is a super safe place to travel as a foreigner.
Let me tell you about being in this country. This is the greatest country in the world.
Prices have gone up so much that we're not able to buy basic things.
Inflation in Iran has been above 40% for years, and in 2025 it's projected to exceed 60%. Prices rise faster than people can adjust. According to Iran's own Parliamentary Research Center, over 30% of the population, about 26 million people, live in absolute poverty. Reports say around 4 million Iranians struggle to afford even basic daily food. When bread, milk, and rice rise each month, life becomes a fight. Families cut meals. Parents skip dinner to feed their children. Living here means constantly calculating every purchase, every bill, and every moment. The Iranian rial is one of the world's weakest currencies. Its value can collapse in a single day. Savings people built over years can lose half their value in a week. A family's emergency fund becomes worthless. Owning a home becomes impossible. The price of an average apartment in Tehran is now far beyond 70 years of average salary. People no longer save for the future. They just try to survive the present.
Income has decreased, rent fees have gone up. My income now is half of last year. Many shops have been shut down.
In 2025, many resource-rich provinces recorded a misery index of 46.6, one of the highest in the world. Just for your information, the national average is around 42.2. It only reflects two brutal realities: high inflation and high unemployment. Young Iranians graduate with high degrees and find no jobs. I have seen so many engineers and scientists become taxi drivers on applications called Snap and Tapsi. Teachers take side jobs. Hard work doesn't mean success, it means survival. Sanctions are not just a political word, they are a daily reality for millions of Iranians. Over the past 2 decades, Iran has become one of the most heavily sanctioned countries on earth, with restrictions affecting banking, oil exports, aviation, technology, medicine, and trade. And while these sanctions are aimed at governments, it's ordinary people who pay the highest price. When banking sanctions cut off international transactions, families cannot send money to their children abroad. Students lose scholarships. Businesses cannot receive payments. When aviation sanctions block the import of airplane parts, planes fly older, less safe, and in desperate need of maintenance. When oil exports fall, the main source of national revenue, the government's income drops, and inflation rises. When companies cannot import basic components, factories shut down, jobs disappear, unemployment rises. Even medicine is affected, not because medicine itself is banned, but because banking and shipping sanctions make it difficult to buy, ship, or pay for it. Hospitals feel the pressure, shortages of chemotherapy drugs, shortages of specialized treatments, shortages of equipment. Sanctions create a chain reaction. Less oil, less income, and more inflation. Weaker currency, higher prices, so in the end, more poverty. And it doesn't stop there. International companies leave, foreign investment disappears, tech companies refuse service, banking apps stop working, global digital tools block Iranian IPs. Everything becomes more expensive, harder to access, slower, older, and more unreliable. For a young Iranian trying to build a future, sanctions feel like an invisible wall, blocking opportunity, limiting dreams, isolating them from the rest of the world. For businesses, sanctions turn every simple transaction into a battle of paperwork, loopholes, middlemen, and costs. For families, sanctions turn hope into exhaustion. Life under sanctions is not just economic pressure, it's emotional pressure. The feeling of falling behind a world that keeps moving forward. The feeling of being isolated, blocked, and forgotten. Living in Iran means living with rules, spoken and unspoken. People think twice before speaking freely, dressing freely, and posting freely. Conversations are cautious. Opinions are filtered. Freedom becomes something private, something practiced only behind the closed doors. This constant pressure is invisible to tourists, but it shapes every day for us. Iran has one of the world's most heavily filtered internets, or we can say filternets. Over 70% of popular global websites and platforms are blocked or heavily restricted. Speeds are slow, access is unstable. People rely on VPNs, which break, lag, or disappear without warning. In moments when people take to the streets to demand basic rights, something else happens. The internet goes dark. When it is shut down, the country becomes isolated, and people feel alone in the dark. This digital silence is something tourists never experience, but Iranians never forget. Electricity cuts, water disruptions, aging roads, overcrowded hospitals. Much of Iran's infrastructure is decades old. Hospitals struggle with shortages. Public transport collapses under pressure. These aren't inconveniences. These shape the rhythm of daily life. Iran is facing one of the worst droughts in its modern history. Tehran's dams, which supply water to millions, are at single-digit capacity. Some are as low as under 10% full. Lakes are disappearing, wells are drying, farmers watch their lands turn into dust. Water cuts becoming normal. For many Iranians, the fear isn't about next year, it's about tomorrow's tap. Tehran, Ahvaz, and Isfahan regularly rank among the most polluted cities on the planet. Schools close, children stay indoors, breathing becomes dangerous. Air pollution kills thousands every year, silently, slowly, and invisibly. It is not seasonal, it is permanent. Iran faces extreme heat, severe floods, deadly dust storms, and earthquakes. Temperatures above 50 centigrade hit parts of this country in summer. Dust storms can reduce visibility to a few meters. Climate pressure makes agriculture collapse, water is scarcer, and health worse. Iranians are living through climate change on fast forward. Parts of Iran are literally sinking. Overuse of groundwater has caused land subsidence in more than 300 plains. Some areas are sinking 20 to 30 centimeters per year, among the fastest rates in the world. Buildings crack, roads warp, entire areas become unsafe. This is a slow motion collapse, impossible to reverse. Iran suffers one of the highest brain drain rates in the world. Doctors, engineers, artists, researchers, thousands leave every year, not because they want to abandon their homeland, but because they feel blocked, limited, and hopeless. Every departure is a story of potential loss, a piece of Iran leaving with every airplane. From 1980 to 1988, Iran endured one of the longest and deadliest conflicts of the 20th century, the Iran-Iraq War. Hundreds of thousands were killed, entire cities were destroyed, millions were displaced. Even today, decades later, the scars remain. Veterans living with lifelong injuries, chemical attack survivors, families mourning loved ones. The war ended, but its shadow never really left. Exactly some months ago, Iran and Israel experienced one of the most serious direct military confrontations in their history. Missile exchanges, targeted strikes, and nights filled with explosions shook civilians across the region. Videos spread of blasted buildings, intercepted projectiles, and people running for shelter. For ordinary Iranians, it was a frightening reminder that this region can shift from calm to chaos in minutes. The fear wasn't theoretical, it was heard, seen, and felt. For decades, people have lived under the pressure of sanctions, economic collapse, rising costs, suffering quietly while the world debated nuclear policy. In minutes, some of the physical symbols of that pressure were destroyed, but the suffering, the uncertainty, the economic wounds did not disappear with them. Jobs are still lost, prices remain high, infrastructure remains damaged. The bombs destroyed buildings. They did not restore dignity, stability, or hope. For many, it felt like all the pain, all the sacrifice, all the compromises vanished into thin air, only to leave behind more damage. This is not a war story. It is a story of people caught between geopolitics and everyday struggle. Tourists see the beauty, travelers feel the hospitality, but Iranians live the reality. A reality full of culture, depth, and history, but also full of challenges no visitor can understand in a week or two. This video is not an attack. It's not hatred. It's not exaggeration. It's simply the truth. Behind the smiles, behind the poetry, behind the hospitality. There is a struggle, there is pain, there is courage. This is the real side of living in Iran. If this video meant something to you, please give it a like and subscribe. Bye bye to the next time.